Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Oilersnation After Dark. My name is Connor Halley. I'll be your host as usual. Today on the show, we've got Zach Laing dropping by for a little bit. We'll also have Gavin the Intern. He's keeping us on track right now as we recap the Oilers' 2-1 overtime victory over the Colorado Avalanche and eighth win in a row for the Edmonton Oilers, improving their record now to 49 23 and 9 on the season, 107 points. Evan Bouchard with the winner tonight. Both goals coming from defensemen as Matthias Ekholm had the other. And for Stuart Skinner, another solid performance against a good team in the Colorado Avalanche. Full disclosure, they were down Kyle McCarr, Josh Manson, Darren Helm, Curtis McDermott, and Arturi Lehkonen. But a win over the Colorado Avalanche, they showed you how good of a team they are tonight, keeping it as close as they did. A solid team, big win for the Edmonton Oilers. And like I said, extending that win streak to 8 in a row, playing some of their best hockey. And if they can beat the San Jose Sharks on Thursday, they will finish with 50 wins on the season. That would be something. Let's get right into the chat here on YouTube. Hello to Rogan, Brian, some stranger, Neilio, Lee, Tyson, Kyle, Ross. Of course, we've got Lee, Sean, Kyle, Cheryl, QF Pro, Rogan, Chemo, Rusty, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Do appreciate that. Make sure you hit the like button. Also on Facebook, Corey, Jennifer, Cleet, Sean. We've got Jeff, Odin, a lot of people. Everyone's happy tonight. It's always good when the Edmonton Oilers can find a way to get the victory. We'll get right into it right now. Let's get to the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. Visit cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone Insurance Brokers is ranked amongst the best in Alberta. Give them a follow on Twitter at CornerstoneINS8 and as well on Instagram at CornerstoneYEG. A lot of happy people in the chat for the good, the bad, the oily. We'll bring in our guest tonight, Zach Laing of Oilers Nation, as well as Daily Faceoff. Zach, good evening. How you doing tonight?
Connor, I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's another fun post-game show here on Oilers Nation After Dark. We're getting spoiled with these. The Oilers just continually find ways to win games, and it's looking good right now as this team heads into the playoffs. Let's just get into the good. I don't want to step on any toes here for the good, the bad, the oily. We'll start off with the good. And let's just say finding a way. The Edmonton Oilers in this one, I think the Avalanche showed how good of a team they are. If they can get healthy, they're obviously going to be an absolutely massive test for whoever has to take them on in the playoffs, especially getting Manson, Cale McCarr back out there, Lehkonen. It's going to be tough. But for the Edmonton Oilers, great team effort. Stuart Skinner, solid between the pipes, kept them in the game. And when it gets to overtime and you're on the power play, you have to find a way to convert, and they did.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, we were talking earlier in the game about how our bad portion was actually going to be the power play, and it comes out and turns out to be the absolute savior for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Beautiful wrist shot from Evan Bouchard to secure the win. I think gutting it out is a great way to kind of put it in this one. I thought the Oilers looked really, really solid tonight, save for a bit of a weak first period. I think they really turned it on in the second and the third period and put the pressure on. You even look at the shots here tonight, just trying to find it right now. The Oilers outshot the Avalanche 40-29, 1 for 4 on the power play. They out-hit Colorado 25-13. They blocked 14 shots. Connor, this feels like an Oilers team that is playing playoff hockey right now. It's about a week away from it kicking off here in Edmonton, and I just can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Obviously, home ice advantage in the first round at least. We'll see what happens. That kind of transitions us nicely into our bad tonight. And like you said, it was going to be the power play not executing because they were stifled that 4-minute power play that they got for the high stick on Hyman. It just nothing was going their way. But we're going to go away from that since the power play goal won them the game. We're going to say Vegas continues to win. As I refresh here, looks like there's about 2.5 minutes. Vegas leads Seattle 4-1 in the third period. So they'll skate away with the victory. That'll bump them up to 109 points on the season. The Oilers at 107. So they'll need the Kraken to do them a favor to beat Vegas, and then the Oilers would need a victory against the San Jose Sharks. But, it's been this way for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. The Oilers playing extremely well, but the Kings for a little while there, and now the Golden Knights just continue to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, credit where it's due for Vegas. I mean, this is a team that's been pretty banged up all season long, and especially as of late. You go take a look at their roster. They've had a number of injuries down the stretch this season, and they continue to just put some games together and win some hockey games. How big of a threat are they going to be in the playoffs in the West this year? I mean, I think that's up for debate, really. I mean, their goaltending is very suspect, and it does look like they might be getting Mark Stone back, but in the same breath, how good is he really going to be for them? Given all the time that he's missed, like he hasn't played since early January. It's a long time off. Just to speak on some other injuries going on too, you look at Colorado, right? And I kind of feel a similar sense about them, right? You look at Cale Makar. Yes, he's played in a good handful of games this season, but he's also been hurt pretty much all season long as well, right? Gabe Landeskog, he hasn't played at all this season. I can't imagine him coming into the playoffs and being very effective. And pretty much everybody else there that you had listed earlier that they're missing, kind of dart throws coming into the playoffs. So, this might be, in one sense of the term, the easiest path, I guess, that the Oilers might have to the playoffs. There's still some teams out there in the Central that are going to be hard outs should the Oilers have to face them at any point. But I mean, what more can you say about this Oilers team? They've been the best team in the NHL, at least looking at points percentage, since January 10th, and they're just not letting up right now.
Yeah, just looking at the Colorado Avalanche, I think Rantanen, Newhook, and O'Connor are the only players to play in every game for them this season. So they've had injuries throughout the lineup, not just the superstars, some of the role players there as well. We had a really good question thrown our way in the Facebook chat. I want to make sure I get the name correct when I go for this one. From Justin, do we start Campbell on Thursday? We'll get to that after the Oily, but let us know in the YouTube chat as well as Facebook chat, who do you start on Thursday? Are you going to go with Campbell? It is the San Jose Sharks, who will probably just want to get that game over with and start their summer. Or do you go with Stuart Skinner and keep him rolling? Obviously, he's going to have some time in between starts after whether it gets going on Monday, Tuesday, whenever it might be. Let us know in the chat. Skinner or Campbell on Thursday when the Oilers take on the San Jose Sharks. Right now, let's get to the Oily, and that's going to probably take us off on a bit of a rant as well. West playoff teams set. Of course, the Winnipeg Jets clinching the playoff spot. Nashville's out. Calgary's out. We know what it's going to look like. A lot of people talking going into this game tonight that the Oilers and Avalanche might be on a collision path here to meet the conference final once again. But Zach, I guess let's look at the West. Any surprising teams in the playoff picture? Anyone you think might go on a bit of a run here?
No real surprises to me, honestly. Pat myself on the back here. I called the Seattle Kraken to be a playoff team this year, so I'm pretty happy. A little proud of myself on that one. I suppose we did an Oilers Nation roundtable to start the season, and they were one of my sleeper teams. I like the Seattle Kraken team a lot. Now, can they make any noise in the playoffs? I'm really not sure about that. Maybe they are able to win a round, but I mean that's going to be tough to say. They are strong defensively, however, so you can give them some credit there. The other wild card spot is going to be Winnipeg. I mean, when you have a goaltender like Connor Halley, that's always a scary situation for me. These elite goaltenders, they can go on runs at any point in the season. And Hellebuck's a guy who has burned the Oilers in the past in that sense. Beyond that, no real surprises. I mean, I guess maybe I'm a little surprised with Minnesota this year. I didn't think they were going to have as strong of a season as they have this year. And, they're probably the scariest team for me, I would almost say, because I think they're really, really strong defensively. Like, I think they've got 3 or 4 lines that can play really great defensive hockey. And, come the playoffs, that's the type of hockey that can win you games.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun playoff series here around all of it. It's going to be a lot of fun out east as well. Good call on Seattle. I think that, Vegas kind of raised the bar maybe a little bit too high with what they did in their first season as a franchise. But for Seattle, a year or two to make the playoffs, building a competitive team, I think you got to give Francis and the group out there some credit for what they were able to do, building that Kraken organization. Let's bring in Gavin. He'll complete the panel tonight, all three of us. Gavin, hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing good. We're always good after an Oilers victory. 2-1. over the Avs in overtime. They give Colorado a point, but that's okay. You're watching, maybe you're listening, I don't know. You're watching Oilers Nation After Dark. Connor Halley, Gavin the Intern, Zach Laing here with you tonight. Gavin, you look at the Western Conference playoff picture there. I'll guess same question. Any team that stands out here is maybe a surprise or a threat to go on a bit of a run?
Well, I think for a threat, obviously, most likely we're going to see Colorado again, but the way we've been playing against them, we're taking them to the extra frame. So I think we obviously match up well against them. And like Zach mentioned too, Winnipeg can be that sneaky team because what was it, the beginning, middle of January, they were a top 3 team in the NHL. Obviously the wheels fell off, but same thing like you guys were mentioning, in a goaltender like Connor Halley standing across from you, you just can never count out the Jets.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of Oilers fans remember that series and the overtimes they went to.
We want to forget that one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, maybe you got to exercise those demons and find a way to get it done. The Oilers a lot better team this time around, but I totally get it that there might be some hesitation going up against a guy like Connor Halley. We threw that question out there, came in on Facebook. Who would you be starting on Thursday when the Oilers take on the San Jose Sharks in between the pipes? And I'd say it was pretty good. A lot of people kind of going each way there. I think that you could probably make an argument for both if you wanted to. Zach, which way would you go Thursday?
I think you have to go with Stuart Skinner here. I mean, he is your guy. As you mentioned before, Connor, there's going to be a number of days off before the playoffs, kick off. So Stu will have a chance to kind of catch his breath and get a little bit of rest here. But I think it's important for him, to get at least another game in here because, think of it this way, right? If the Oilers don't start their playoffs until next Monday or Tuesday, that's almost 7 days between games for your starting goaltender to sit on the bench without games. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that. So I think you run Stu out there on Thursday without much hesitation.
Can confirm now Vegas was victorious 4-1 over the Seattle Kraken. Just want to check here. These two teams meeting again Thursday, 8:30. So the Oilers, they won't have the advantage of knowing that they can't catch, won't be able to rest guys. Probably want to make sure they play all their stars as they typically would. Gavin, so we'll go same question for you, with the goaltending.
Yeah, that was actually one of my main points why I would go Stuart Skinner in that hockey game, because we play at 7 p.m., so we don't have that luxury of knowing if Vegas won or lost. So I would go Stu. And, man, the guy's been on an absolute roll. He's obviously adding to his Calder conversation. He's allowed 3 goals in his last 4 games, and now he's 9-0-1 in his last 10 starts. Put that man between the pipes, keep riding with him. So he's our guy. So I would go Stuart Skinner on Thursday.
I like it. Yeah, I think I'm with you guys as well. Campbell, I feel like, he's not the guy. He's not the guy going forward here for the rest of the season. At least get Stuart Skinner that start, and then obviously a couple days to rest and recover. You guys, Ryan McLeod returned to the lineup. Played 11 minutes, 45 seconds, had an assist on the Matthias Ekholm goal. Zach, what did you make of Ryan McLeod and his return? And, what do you think the expectations are for a hopeful long playoff run with him?
Well, you know what? It looked like he didn't have any rust on him whatsoever. I thought he looked great out there tonight. He looked fresh. He looked fast. I think that's the biggest thing about a guy like Ryan McLeod. I always kind of hearken him to be like a Connor McDavid, like super light, I suppose. And the reason I say that is because, Ryan McLeod has this speed to keep up with Connor McDavid. And I think McLeod also thinks the game at a very, very high level. If you watch him out there, he is in the right position all the time, everywhere on the ice. He is always in the right spot where he needs to be. And I think that goes a long way for a player and for, somebody like McLeod, who's got a deep relationship with Jay Woodcroft from his time down in Bakersfield. My expectation is that Ryan McLeod's going to be the Oilers' third line center now and well into the future. And I think if you have a third line, with him, a guy like Warren Fogle and maybe Derek Ryan on the right side, I mean, that is a third line that is going to be an absolute handful because both Fogle and McLeod are really strong forecheckers. It allows Derek Ryan to kind of play a little bit more of a support/defensive role. I think that could be a really tough third line for other teams to go up against.
Gavin, what did you think of the return? I think they said it was like a bruised lung. It was internal or something. Had to go talk to other doctors, and he wanted to get in there, but it wasn't going to be cleared. I believe that was the story. What did you make of his return to the lineup?
Yeah, obviously it was good, kind of getting his legs ready to go again, playing just under 12 minutes, like you said. And going into the playoffs, obviously you want that additional forward depth, and Ryan McLeod issues that, right? It's a huge asset to get Ryan McLeod back in the lineup, and something that we need going forward into the playoffs.
Zach, when you look at the Oilers' last 6 games now, going back to the 2-0 win over the LA Kings, 6 games they've allowed 4 goals. Do you think? I mean, is it as simple as saying it's goaltending that's improved, or have you seen anything change in the even strength 5-on-5 play?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, Stuart Skinner's on an absolute tear right now, right? So that's always going to help. But I also think the Oilers are playing some of the best hockey we've maybe seen them play in our lifetimes, really.
For sure.
This is
Definitely mine.
Yeah, definitely mine too. I mean, they're clicking in every facet of the game. Do they still have some struggles defensively? Like, without a doubt. I mean, there's still holes on that defense, I think, and holes in the Oilers' defensive game. But when you look at this team as a collective right now, they're doing a very good job of, I think, filling those holes, especially in the defensive zone. We've talked at length about a guy like Mattias Ekholm and how much he's meant to this team. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I still can't believe that he's an Edmonton Oiler. He is the best acquisition in a trade this team has made since they acquired Chris Pronger. He is having that serious of an impact on this team. So, I think it's a little bit of both to answer your question. I think they're playing really good hockey right now.
A lot of people right now digging Ryan McLeod. Jason on the YouTube chat says his speed will make him dangerous. Pete says Clowder was flying. Neilio says McLeod is this year's Pisani. Yeah, if the Oilers could find a Pisani to throw in the mix with McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Evander Kane, they're probably doing pretty good. Okay, we're up to 244 people in the YouTube chat. So we got to set that like number. I don't know. We'll aim low. Let's go for 122. If half the people there can hit that like button right now, that'll do us a favor. We appreciate it. On Facebook, make sure you do the same. I don't have the exact number, but I'm going to guess there's a bunch of you in there. So make sure you hit that like button for us. Always appreciated when you do that. And then because you did that, I'm going to tell you that if you head to any Oodle Noodle location in Edmonton, you get some noodles, you can pick up a free Oilers Nation sticker. So hit the like button tomorrow. Go grab some noodles. Justin switching to YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube chat's crazy. People go wild in there. So check that out. Hit the like button on your way out, Justin. And also tomorrow, head to Oodle Noodle, grab some noodles and some stickers. Check them out on Twitter at Oodle_Noodle and on Instagram, which is probably the best way to do it. Oodle Noodle Graham. Let's talk a little bit about the defensive side there. Mattias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard scoring the goals tonight. Obviously, Bouchard on the power play. Mattias Ekholm gets the Oilers right back into it after they give up that first goal to Ben Myers. A bit of a softie. Zach, obviously, you don't want to count on your defensemen to chip in offensively all the time. But how nice is it when McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Hyman, Kane don't find a way to score to get 2 goals from the blue line?
Yeah, it's great to see, honestly. I mean, credit where it's due, this Colorado team. They did a fairly good job of, I suppose, shutting down the Oilers' stars tonight. In the playoffs, you need goals from guys like Mattias Ekholm and from Evan Bouchard to win you hockey games, right? There's going to be playoff games where, unfortunately, guys like McDavid and Draisaitl have very quiet nights, relatively speaking. And I know it sounds weird to say, considering, how good they've been this season, but you look back at the Colorado series last year in the playoffs and, they still had, 3-4 points in those 4 games, but they weren't putting up the, 12 points in 5 games that they did against Calgary, right? So, depth scoring is going to be a huge thing for this Oilers team. And I think the good news is that, this is the deepest Oilers roster we've seen in the McDavid era. So I think it bodes well for this club heading into the postseason.
Facebook, Quincy says 8 wins in a row, number 9 on Thursday. Yeah, the Oilers playing some great hockey. Mitchell says, what happens if Vegas and Oilers tie in points? Correct me if I'm wrong. Regulation wins is the statistic we go to from there. And after that, it would be head-to-head, right?
Yeah, it'd be the regulation wins where the Oilers have been absolutely dominant this season. Yeah. I think it's actually something that not a lot of people have been talking about this year. The Edmonton Oilers have 44 wins in regulation. That's second to only the Boston Bruins, who have a staggering 53. In third place, it's Toronto with 41. Then in fourth, it's New Jersey with 39. So, The Oilers have done one hell of a job in winning these games and closing them out in regulation. Interestingly enough, the second place team in the Western Conference, just looking at regulation wins, is actually Vegas, and they have 37. So the Oilers are 7 up on the next closest team in the West in terms of regulation wins. That's a huge number right there.
Dante on Facebook says, when's Makar back? That's the key. According to their coach, Jared Bednar, playoffs. I mean, if playoffs started tomorrow, I have a sneaking suspicion he'd just be ready to go. I just don't think there's a rush to get him back. Take your time, let him heal. And yeah, Zach, that's a crazy statistic that the Oilers have, been that good, finding ways to win in regulation, almost the anti-Calgary Flames. Quick question for you guys. This is just a yes or no answer. And if you want to chime in on the chat on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free. Hypothetically, the Boston Bruins win the Cup. Is this the greatest single season a team's had?
Yes.
Now, but it doesn't make them the greatest team, does it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no, probably not. I mean, I think the level of greatness that the Oilers had in the 1980s, or the level of greatness that teams like the Montreal Canadiens had, in like the 1940s and the 1950s. And I know we're going back a long way here, but, I think greatness also, includes, the players that you have on that team. And, like David Pasternak's having a great year. He is a superstar player, but I don't really think there's other true superstars on that team. To me, I still think that, I'd be nervous if I'm a Boston fan heading into the playoffs. Maybe they got all of their good juju out in the regular season and bad luck is coming their way in the playoffs. Who knows? But no, I wouldn't say that they're the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, and like the Boston Bruins in the last offseason, they had some question marks surrounding their team too. They weren't sure if Patrice Bergeron was going to come back, or same thing with Krejci. So the fact that they came in and now they're setting records in the win column, definitely nothing to shy away from. But yeah, I'm with Zach. Like, I wouldn't say greatest team ever per se, but damn.
Maybe you say most successful season, right? I mean, maybe that's the way that you kind of phrase it, right? Best regular season record of all time. They can go on a run in the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup. Maybe most successful is the way you kind of twist that.
Yeah, I mean, what they've been able to do, it's just unbelievable. Night in and night out to just consistently find ways to win, and in a tough Eastern Conference, it's remarkable. Like Taylor Hall's on their third line. It's a good problem to have. Also, while we got you here, should let you know if you want to throw on some Oilers Nation gear for the playoff run, check out nationgear.ca. We've got the playoff gear. We've got the new 100 points. We've got the Draisaitl gear. Check it out, nationgear.ca. Also, you can go to Instagram and Twitter at nationgear. I think you guys got some Nation gear going on there, right? Like
repping the staff uniform,
yep.
The sweater. This is a hat that we did a couple of summers ago.
And I believe someone said that they couldn't go to Oodle Noodle because they live in Maine. Now, I believe you can order from nationgear.ca and they'll ship out to you. So you got to find a different way to get that. But yeah, check it out, nationgear.ca. Some absolutely awesome stuff. And yeah, they do great work. And I just kind of tease, maybe, just maybe, if you're in the area, maybe someone from Oilers Nation can come down and say hello. Maybe you could meet someone. It's crazier things have happened. What's the bakery in your building?
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter. I've heard if you could go there, you might meet someone.
You never know.
You never know what might happen. Yep. Oilers Nation After Dark here. We're talking about the Edmonton Oilers' 2-1 win over the Colorado Avalanche in overtime. With that, the Oilers improved their record to 49-23-9 on the season, 107 points. That is currently 2 points behind Las Vegas. I was trying to do some calculations here, you guys. Stuart Skinner, I believe, is he now up to 27 victories on the season as the starting goalie? Or was that going into tonight's game?
I think it was going into tonight's game. Because I was just looking at this earlier.
That would put him at 28 and tie Grant Fuhr's rookie record for wins.
There you go. Wow. That's a good little statistic.
Give him the start on Thursday. Give it to him.
Absolutely.
Give it to him.
We'll have to go do some math. But yeah, Grant Fuhr in his rookie year was 28, 5, and 14. 3.31 goals against average, save percentage, just a hair under 900. Obviously, he went on to be pretty good. If Oilers fans can get Stuart Skinner to follow in that trajectory, obviously it'd be a pretty good thing. I never feel like it's a bad idea to pump that kid's tires because he's so young, he's so mature, he doesn't get rattled. I talked about it a lot on here. Probably people will say too much, but in those tight games, Zach, he just seems so calm, cool, and collected. Like he doesn't get rattled.
Yeah, it's really impressive, right? Like he's got just absolute ice in his veins. It's probably one of the most impressive things, right? He's 24 going on 34. You could say he looks like an absolute veteran out there who's just calm, cool, collected all the time. The Oilers know what they got in him, right? And this is a guy who's provided them, 9-12 or better save percentage all season long. It's been massive. Just the other day, last week it was, Frank Saravalli of dailyfaceoff.com said that, if the ballots were being cast for the Calder Trophy that day, he would vote for Stuart Skinner. And I definitely agree, trying to set some little bit of, bias aside here. But, the Oilers probably aren't a playoff team if Stuart Skinner isn't playing the way Stuart Skinner is. I mean, I think the ability to have a goaltender back there who has settled things down the way he has been absolutely massive for this club.
Gavin, I mean, is there an aspect of his game that's impressed you the most in your first full year?
Yeah, I kind of think you guys already touched on it, though. He doesn't let mistakes kind of compact. For an example, even in the game today, he let in that early goal, and then he stood on his head for the rest of the game. So I think that's his number one contribution to this team. Like, he's very, very mentally tough. And the last 10 games have showed it. Like I said, he's 9-0-1 his last 10 starts. He's been winning his hockey games. So, like, put Draisaitl and obviously McDavid aside, he probably is our team MVP this year because, like Zach said, if he's not playing to the caliber he's been playing, we're probably not in the same position we are now. We're probably fighting for a playoff spot going into game 82.
Do you guys know the last goaltender to win the Calder off the top of your heads?
I do. I want to see if you get it, Gavin.
I wouldn't say a superstar.
No, I know. Because I know they're talking about this in the. Is there Raycroft?
Oh, well, he did win it. Steve Mason.
Yeah, Mason was
2009.
Steve Mason, Raycroft, Nabokov won it. Martin Brodeur back in the early 90s. Ed Belfour. So goalies have done it before. I was going way back. There was a guy that named Frank McCool won it back in the 40s. Probably one of the greatest names. We need more McCools in the league. But yeah, speaking of awards, and because Jane brought it up on Facebook, Jack Adams, Coach of the Year. I mean, I don't think it can be understated what Jay Woodcroft has done to this team. And part of what I think this defensive evolution we've seen from the team is him working on that from the start of the year. And, finally bringing Matthias Ekholm, and it allows everyone to just play a little bit better. But we'll start with you, Zach. When you think of Jay Woodcroft, I don't think anyone would probably disagree he's a nominee, but is there enough for him to win the award?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. It's hard to argue with what Jim Montgomery's done out in Boston this year, right? As much as I would love to see Jay Woodcroft win the Jack Adams, because I did put a little bit of money on it to start the season, I just don't think that it's going to happen, unfortunately. However, if the Oilers come back and they put together a season like this next season, and there isn't a team named Boston who are posting like 63 wins, you could very well see him winning a Jack Adams trophy in the very near future, especially, if this Oilers team is able to go on a deep run in the playoffs this year, maybe they lift the Stanley Cup. That sort of stuff always plays in favor of the voters.
Yeah. Literally any other season than this season, I would put Woodcroft as number one, but Montgomery has this thing locked up. But Ken Holland definitely gets Executive of the Year, in my opinion. Just the additions that he made with Buczak and Ekholm. But yeah, for the Jack Adams Award, unfortunately, you just can't not give it to Montgomery.
Yeah, totally agree with you guys. And I'm kind of negative when it comes to Coach of the Year awards. I feel like it always goes to someone who just isn't necessarily the best coach, but surprised you. Yeah. And this year, I mean, maybe I'd say he did surprise us, but he's also done such an amazing job. I think it should be unanimous for Jim Montgomery to be a number one. Bassam on Facebook. Who would you rather play, Winnipeg or LA? Let us know on the chats, YouTube, Facebook. Zach, Winnipeg or LA?
God, that's tough. I probably am going to lean LA, I think. because Connor Halley scares the hell out of me. I have PTSD and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yes, I'm exactly the same. I'd rather play LA too. And like I mentioned earlier in the stream too, Winnipeg, yes, they have Connor Halley, but they were also a top 3 team in the NHL already this season until the wheels fell off. So I'm leaning LA here, even though it's really, really close.
Yeah, I mean, I think LA is the way the Oilers played them the last couple of games. They've just done such a good job, kind of, playing that patient brand of hockey, taking what the Kings give them. I like that. Connor Halley, that's just a guy that he's scary because he can go off so well. And I know that the Jets had periods of this season that they did not necessarily look that great. Lost, 7 of 8 at one point, but there's always that threat. I got Jason 30 on beside me right now. Zach, how awesome was that today?
That was one hell of a stressful game. Alec Manoah, man. I mean, the big guys had some struggles to start the year here. I think it was great to see the way the team kind of rallied behind him, and especially a guy like Kevin Kiermaier too. I mean, what a catch of the wall that was. How electric was that to kind of kick things off at home, right? Got a little scary. You don't like going down to a team like Detroit, but shit, I mean, the Bats were hot and they had a big comeback.
Gavin, you Jays fan?
Nope. I'm not going to say who I am a fan of.
The Yankees?
Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan. So,
jeez. Are you a Lakers fan too?
Nope. No, I'm not a Lakers fan. So.
How about Man U?
Nope.
No? Okay. Nope. Just had to check.
Cowboys fan though. Cowboys fan. So I get a lot of heat for that one too.
I knew about that one, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
I own it. I deserve the hate.
Hey, you know what? I got a soft spot for the Cowboys. Haven't seen, all due respect, I'm a Chargers fan. Haven't seen them win in a while, so don't hate them. Patriots?
I haven't seen the Cowboys go further than a divisional round in my lifetime. So
one day.
It's been tough. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully.
One day they'll get there. And you know what? Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I saw my Bears get to the Super Bowl in 2007, and I've been waiting for the day to get back there. Damn Aaron Rodgers in 2011 in the conference championship ended it. That one was a heartbreaker too.
Yeah.
Hey, man, if Rex Grossman could get you to the Super Bowl, Justin Fields can find a way to get it done, right? You got to believe in that.
There you go. Just one quick other little thing, just to quickly plug BlueJaysNation.com. If you are a Blue Jays fan, we have a Blue Jays website as a part of the Nation Network. I'm writing some game day blogs over there, so come check us out. We got a really talented group of writers over there. BlueJaysNation.com.
Oh, we got baseball from Scotty JCD.
Oh, and we ruined the game for Maynard. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Well,
okay, guys, I won't watch the Jays.
It's don't worry. It's well worth the watch.
Yes, I was just gonna say it's well worth the watch. A lot happened in that game. I'm not a Jays fan, but hell, it was one entertaining game for sure.
They play an entertaining brand of baseball. I was gonna say, hypothetically, Gavin, you want to go down to Dallas, watch a Cowboys game? Zach, you want to go to Chicago? Maybe I want to go down to LA, see the Chargers. AMA Travel, might I recommend? They'll find a way to get you there, probably help you with some currency while they're at it, tell you what you should be doing in those fine cities. Bad news if you're a Packers fan. I don't think there's too much to do in Green Bay, but you could tour Lambeau. I think AMA could help you out with that one. So, check out AMA Travel. And
go eat a shitload of cheese.
Yeah, cheese. Maybe you can go to a Badgers game on the Saturday. I don't know. But AMA Travel, that's what we recommend. And maybe we'll try to do a nation vacation out to one of our favorite cities here, watch some hockey and football. I keep just plugging that. Maybe we can make it happen down the road here. So the Edmonton Oilers, obviously, traveling back to Edmonton tonight. Thursday, they'll take on the San Jose Sharks, who I think at this point, Carlson got to 100 points. They probably have nothing to play for. They're probably choked. They have to fly up to Edmonton, wrap up their season, then fly home. But that's the way the schedule makers made it. Facebook, we've got 100 messages today with a restream chat. So thank you to everyone who got in on the conversation. We really do appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube and we're still up over 200, make sure you hit that like button. KC says Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings. I like Justin Jefferson. He was good for me in fantasy football until when it mattered. But thank you, Casey, for tuning in. More sick takes from Z. Z? Who's that? Gonzo, you got to elaborate on that one. I think, I don't know. Badgers. We don't need some stinking Badgers. I guess one thing we could talk about here, Skylar Brindamore not signing with the Oilers. Draft pick of the team. Obviously, the team deeper than we've seen it in all of our lifetimes. Any surprise there, Zach? Would hear about Brindamore opting not to sign in Edmonton?
This is a guy who hasn't even scored a point per game at any level of hockey. I am not concerned about it whatsoever. The name is cool. He's a Brindamore, right? But no, I don't think the Oilers are missing out on anything. Liam actually did an article earlier this morning on Skylar Brindamore from kind of a scout's perspective. Kind of seems like a guy who's a pedestrian center who, I don't really see having much success. I'll put it to you this way. I can't remember who it was. I think Blue Bullet Brad on Twitter tweeted out earlier today. His, point per game pace was similar to that of Graham McPhee in the NCAA. And Graham McPhee has scored at like a 0.3 point per game clip in the American Hockey League. So
Solid.
Look, I don't think we're missing out on much here, folks. And if you're losing sleep over it, you're thinking about the wrong things right now.
Yeah. I'm worried about this year, our cup run. Yeah, I'm not really losing sleep over this one either.
I mean, I saw people on social media really get furious about Michael Kesselring being traded.
I was gonna mention that one too. Yeah.
That was me. I'm still upset.
He's still mad about
In the office, Zach was upset about the Kesselring being dealt.
Yeah. That one's a little bit different for me because Michael Kesselring was really proving something in the American Hockey League.
That's true.
He was showing his worth already. And I think it was a really good choice by, Arizona to try and get him included in the deal. So credit to him there.
And he stepped in right away there too.
Yeah, absolutely. He stepped right in and played NHL minutes. Bruce Kurlock, our prospects writer, he's got a column that goes up every Sunday at noon. He is a huge Michael Kesselring fan, like over the moon. Thinks he's going to be a long-time NHLer, even if it's kind of in the third pairing role. So a little bit different there. I'm still a big Michael Kesselring fan. So
when he's an all-star defenseman, you'll have the receipts to prove everyone. You can laugh at me for.
Yeah, and I guess you never know too, because before the year, like you bring up the name Vincent Desharnais, I bet you majority of Oilers fans would have said who. Right. But now he's like a huge like guy for us in the playoffs going forward. He adds that depth to our defense core. So yeah, I get it.
I think I've told the story on here. I was doing a post-game show for 1260 and someone mentioned trading Desharnais and I was like, well, what would the market be for him? I mean, haven't seen him play too much, with the injury in
considerations camp. Maybe.
Yeah. Good thing they didn't make that move. That scouting staff knows what they're doing.
We Winnie.
Exactly. People talking about Zed. Zach, I'm sorry. I don't know how I didn't put that together.
That's okay.
I don't know. It's 11 o'clock. I've been out for a long time today. That's common sense. I'll try to work on that for next time. What should we get to here? Why don't we just very quickly touch on this, and then we'll make our Betway picks. It was brought up here in the chat. Why wasn't Draisaitl shooting? I will say, watching him, I thought there was a lot of opportunities he had to take a shot and looked away or, instead looked to make the pass. I think he's kind of a pass first guy anyway, so you have to get used to that to a certain extent. Just want to check here very quickly. He had 0 shots tonight. So did you guys pick up on that as well, Zach?
I actually didn't pick up on that. That's not something that I kind of had caught my eye. I did notice that they were playing the Oilers' big guns pretty hard all night long. For Draisaitl, this is actually his 5th game of the season where he didn't register a single shot on goal. So, these sort of nights are few and far between for him. Not overly worried about it because we're 2 games away from the playoffs here and that sort of a thing. Yeah,
like maybe on one occasion I noticed it tonight on that 2-on-1 at the tail end of the third period. I think he was on a 2-on-1 with maybe Ekholm, I believe, when he tried passing across, got broken up. That led to an odd man rush going the other way. That's the only occasion I maybe would have seen it. Maybe I would have liked to see him shoot the puck there, but same thing. I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think Oiler fans can count on him to shoot when he needs to. Crucial moments in games. I think he'll find a way to get that one going. All right. Before we wrap up tonight, we'll get to our Betway picks and predictions. So, Zach, we'll start with you. Give us one thing fans might want to sprinkle a little money on in terms of prop bets, and then a score prediction. We'll do this for Betway. Betway 19+, bet responsibly.
Give me the Oilers on the puck line. That means that the Oilers need to win by at least 2 goals. They shouldn't have any issue doing that here against a San Jose team who has literally nothing to play for and are probably super pissed off that they have to come up to Edmonton.
For sure.
So, I think it's going to be like a 4-5 nothing win for the Oilers.
Yeah.
What do you got, Gavin?
I know life's too short to bet the under, but I have to go the under just the way Stuart Skinner's been playing. And during our 8-game winning streak now, we've only allowed 12 goals against. So I got to do the under. And for a score prediction, I'll do 3-1 Oilers. And then I'm going to pump up Leon Draisaitl's tires a bit because we're just talking about him not shooting the puck. So I'm going to do over shot prop and for him to find the back of the net.
Okay, I'm going to take a 4-2 Oilers win. And I think one of the Sharks goal scorers will be Noah Gregor. Shout out to my boss on TSN 1260.
He had a disallowed goal against us last time when they were here. So
he's starting to find his stride. And hometown, maybe not everyone else is up. The Sharks do play in Calgary tomorrow, so that should be a fun game. 2 teams on the outside looking in. 4-2 win. And I don't know. Let's go. I don't know if you can even bet on it, but I'll just say you can. Clem Costin gets on the score sheet. He gets a goal in the finale, potentially a game where he gets a few more minutes out there, gets a little more opportunities, maybe redeems himself for the penalty he took tonight, playing the puck over the glass. Not ideal. Didn't end up hurting them, but the Edmonton Oilers, as we've talked about here, victorious over the Colorado Avalanche tonight, 2-1 in overtime, 49-23-9 on the season, puts them up to 107 points on this season. That's 2 points behind the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who were victorious against the Seattle Kraken. Those 2 teams will meet again on Thursday, a game where I think the Edmonton Oilers need to go into it looking to pick up the victory. Very quickly, thank you to all the sponsors that make this show possible. Cornerstone Insurance. Check them out at cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo quote and use discount code NATION. Oodle Noodle, head over there tomorrow for lunch or dinner or a midday snack. Buy your noodles, and then pick up a sticker, an Oilers Nation sticker, throw it on your vehicle. Nationgear.ca, you can grab all the Oilers playoff gear. We got the Nuge and Draisaitl shirt, amongst others, and then AMA Travel, as we talked about. If you want to go on a vacation this summer, they make it simple for you. All the Nation vacations are powered by AMA Travel, so check them out as well. Zach, Gavin, thank you guys so much for doing this tonight. We appreciate it. To those of you who tuned in, thank you as well. Make sure you hit that like button. We need that to happen, and share it, rewatch it, listen to the podcast. We got to boost those numbers. I was watching. I think we did pretty good the last couple of weeks here in terms of the iTunes downloads. So let's try to keep that going as
we hit our
well.
like goal.
Sorry?
We hit our like goal too. So
did we?
Guys. Yep.
Oh, beautiful. If you haven't hit the like button on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you do that right now. Guys, let's wrap it up. We'll talk to you on Thursday, probably around 9:45 or so after the Oilers hopefully take down the San Jose Sharks.